All right, everybody. How y'all doing? We are back on the camera for the first time in a minute. Got these headphones in my hand. Let me put them down. Just had to make sure the audio is working because I still can't put these on my head because we'd be super cooked. But we're gonna be on camera a little more. Just a little. We're gonna start doing a little short discussions about things that like subplots that I find interesting in the league because as we've seen on this YouTube thing, you kind of got to be a volume shooter on here as opposed to a guy that likes his efficiency. I like my efficiency. I want my true shooting percentage to be up there in the basketball analysis world. But, what I'm saying? Sometimes you got to shoot 30 to get 30. So we're going to be on this camera a little more often and just talking a little more short form type stuff. And the first thing that I want to do to kind of start that off is talk about Jordan Poole specifically over the next however long Steph is going to be out and his tracking whether or not he can grow and get more opportunity as like a primary guy within this Golden State offense because Jordan Poole is a very interesting player to me. He's very skilled. Like he can do a lot of things on the basketball court. And I watched a lot of him his first year, his rookie season, because you guys know I watched a lot of D'Angelo Russell, and I watched a lot of those games, and I saw like the talent that he had, like specifically, to be able to pass, shoot off the dribble, things like that. But during that time, he was also one of like the worst basketball players I had seen at that time. Not specifically from a skill standpoint, but he was a player that really like struggled, like more so than I've seen from a lot of guys that struggled with like the speed of the game. And like you can tell that the closeouts were just a little too fast for him. And people were just a little too into his space and he wasn't quite sure how to navigate the court and things like that at that time. And so, he really struggled his first year. He came back his second year, was still kind of up and down and kind of found his footing, as the season went along. And then this year, he's been relatively good for the most part. And I think that this upcoming stretch for him is like very important because, like I said, he's a player that kind of feeds off his confidence, for like lack of a better term. He's not like a person that's gonna shrivel up and fold if he doesn't do well, but when he's on, and when he's not, he's like So, the thing that I think we're gonna get to really see, I don't know if we are gonna get to see it. That's the thing that we do need to discuss, and that's like Steve Kerr and his general weirdness with people like exploring their creativity. That's not Stephen Curry. Like I don't know, he seems to have an aversion to guys kind of being creative and doing their own things outside the confines of his system, which is fine, but if you got a guy who you think he's going to be a part of the future of your franchise, specifically with how old Steph is, and like he has another injury and things like that, and Draymond's his back is cooked, he think me out here. Clay, he had his legs are the size of a pencil, so I ain't really gonna talk about how he's been playing because he's had a tough road. But this guy is probably the best the best actual prospect that you have right now. I know Moody a hooper. I know people like Kuminga, but Kuminga is more of a he's a product of what's going on around him right now. He's not really going to be a guy that's going to have the ball in his hands and do all these things for some time now, if he ever becomes that person. So I think Jordan Poole has a lot of high end skills within the offense, and we can see in his numbers like that he's a perfect fit for like this kind of system. But the question is whether or not he's going to be able to kind of explore his creativity a little more within the offense while Steph is out, and while Draymond is coming back and rounding into shape and things like that, because I think he's going to be a very important piece for them in the playoffs. Because like he has all the skills, like the tertiary skills that fit within the offense, and he can also be a person that you can run the offense through for stretches at a time. I wouldn't say that you want to put the ball in his hands for more than like 5 minutes at a time, because although I think he has a lot of skills and like his pick and roll numbers are good, I'll put those up. Like he's pretty decent in isolation. He's good in handoffs and things like that. But as like a primary ball handler, I think that he still has a little ways to go, because it's still a little too easy to like redirect him. And like I'll have footage up, like I'm not gonna put it in this video specifically because we got to chase that ad revenue. But I'll just put like maybe a video of his playmaking up and things like that, and just like the things that he is good at, and he's good at like hitting people off the drive, like finding people cutting baseline while he's moving towards the hoop and coming off the screens, coming off curls and hitting the pocket pass, or hitting things like that. Or he's like very creative, like in late clock situations and finding open people like under the rim, and like he passes with both hands. He does a lot of things like that. You look at him, you're like, oh, this guy, you got some things with him. But then as a primary initiator person, he also kind of struggles with ball pressure still. And so you'll see like once every 3-4 possessions, he'll get into positions where he got to kind of like turn his body to the defender, because like he's not exactly confident in where he's going. Like he's not always going to where it's a positive momentum. He can get side to side from sometimes, and you got to turn around and kind of navigate his way that way, which is fine because I don't think he's going to be like a primary ball handler in the future, but I think he can be like a high end secondary ball handler type of guy that has to become more consistent. And like the thing that is going on with Jordan Poole, like over the course of the season, is that he'll have like a month where he's like I don't know if you guys will see those memes where it's like a calendar and it's a specific player, and it's like it'll have a line and it'll be like, oh, this guy stinks these months, and then it's like, oh, this guy's the best player ever, and then there's another one's like, oh, he's sorry again. I'm not saying like Jordan Poole's sorry or anything like that, but he's had like a month to month like thing where he's cooking one month and then he's not shooting so great another month. And part of that is like the inconsistency of his role. I know Warriors fans kind of have I don't know how many of them, but I see a subset of them like they all about that Jordan Poole, and and you know what I'm saying, I respect it. And like they're not happy with the way that he's kind of been jerked in and out of like his role on the team and stuff like that. And I know a lot of people, I'm glad that we got past this Wiggins stuff. I think Andrew Wiggins is a solid role player, but like, you know what I'm saying, the stuff that was going on earlier in the season was kind of hilarious to me. And I think a lot of people kind of view Poole as like being the guy that people thought Andrew Wiggins was, but not in the same kind of role, but just like overall importance to the team now and in the future. He's going to be more important, and he kind of needs to be able to show that he can do things without like being a part of the Steph Curry like ecosystem. It's going to be important, of course, but like you want to see if he has his own things that he can do. And he's, he comes off the bench, he runs the offense, things like that. But you kind of want to see if he can do that, at a more consistent level and with more responsibility. And I think this is the perfect opportunity for him to do so. Going with the month to month, like cooking and not cooking. He's in the middle of like a hot streak right now. Not a hot streak, but he's playing well this month. He's like over 50% shooting, all that stuff, over 40% from three, stuff like that. And the question is whether or not he can sustain it again, because like the end of the month is coming and next month is playoffs. So maybe, if he falls off first round, who knows what can happen. I don't know if that's going to happen, but I think it's just an interesting thing to like kind of keep tabs on, because I think that all of his skills that he's shown thus far are applicable with him also being a more primary offensive option, particularly in the system that they run. So he's still going to get a lot of the off-ball stuff that he gets because, it's not a set, he's the point guard, things like that. But he will be relied upon more to like make things happen. And I'm interested to see whether or not he can do that and like keep the offense at a high level, because like there's guys that can like get theirs within systems and they can make plays that that like kind of keep your offense afloat a little bit, but it doesn't elevate what's going on. And we saw last night in Orlando, like he did an okay job of like managing all of that stuff, but like their offense wasn't, what they scored, like they scored like 90 some points. I'll have to look it up, but they weren't cooking like that. Andrew Wiggins was getting, he wasn't having a great night, and they were kind of just struggling overall. But I think that these next couple weeks are going to be important because, like I said, he's a confidence guy, and if he has success within this stretch and he kind of builds that confidence, and Kerr doesn't do anything to like deter his, like stifle his creativity and just let the dude play, I think that can have positive benefits for them. If not for this playoff push, for seasons beyond in the head. I was going to try to make some seasons ahead. I think that he's going to be a solid player in this league. I'm going to keeping tabs on him. I do think that the Warriors might be in a little bit of trouble. I don't know. That foot things and back things, those are the two things that I'm not a fan of. I think Steph will be fine. I'm really worried about Draymond though, as a person whose back is like absolutely cooked. Like I know that it only takes one or two things to jostle you, and then your neck starts tingling, and then your balance is weird, your legs feel weird. Like you just have a lot of problems that aren't just back pain. It's a lot of mobility things that you can't do, and like you trying to look around and like you getting discombobulated. It's just a lot of stuff that you got to worry about. So Jordan Poole is going to be very important coming up, particularly if these guys are still a little banged up. I think he'll be fine in the role. Hopefully he'll be fine. And I think that the Warriors can kind of get a positive out of this kind of situation that they're in right now. Whether or not, they'll be ready for the playoffs in a couple weeks, I don't know. I hope they are, because I want to see some good basketball. We got a lot of teams coming up. We got a lot of good matchups that could come to fruition if people are healthy and people are available. So that was just a 10-minute, 12-minute ramble about absolutely nothing, but we talked about Jordan Poole a little bit. Like I said, you will see me going forward more often, hopefully with more carefully thought out things next time. Probably going to talk about Cade in a couple days. I'm going to post some of the Jordan Poole footage that I talked about just to give you an idea, like if you're not familiar with him, the kind of things he can do on the court and the kind of things I expect him to do in these couple of weeks coming up. We're going to talk about Cade. We're going to talk about just general basketball stuff. Every time I talk about a player, I'll probably put some footage up. Putting it in these videos, it's fine, but, we can just keep the content machine running that way by separating them and things like that. I'll probably have the video first and then I'll talk about it after going forward. But other than that, I see y'all. I got this crew neck on. It's hot. I don't want y'all to see this t-shirt I had on because the neck is kind of, it's kind of all over the place. So I ain't trying to be out here with the clavicle all out, you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Just in case you got some ladies watching, you know what I'm saying? I don't want y'all, get y'all ladies took. But yeah, I'll see y'all in a couple days. Other than that, I'm about to go and do some things because I got some things to do. Till next time.